Hello friends, welcome to channel 686. News. TV. If you haven't subscribed yet, press the subscribe button right now. The information is taken from open media sources. Today, I will share first news that I found on the internet. Take a comfortable seat, let's begin.
Welcome aboard the USS Pentagon. Iran pulled the fuse and lit the spark for a new war in the Middle East as a result of Israeli airstrikes on the Iranian embassy building in Damascus. For the first time, the Tefronregime carried out a direct attack on Israeli territory using drones and missiles without the use of intermediaries. The Iranian army sent more than 300 aerial targets to Israel, including 170 drones, 30 cruise missiles, and 120 ballistic missiles. 99% of these air targets were shot down by Israeli and allied air defense systems. Israeli Defense Forces spokesman Daniel Hagari said all 170 drones and 30 cruise missiles were shot down by the Israeli Air Force and its allies outside the country's borders. The Israeli Defense Forces said the JSC's long-range air defense system managed to shoot down the vast majority of the 120 ballistic missiles, but some of them penetrated Israeli defenses and hit NaaimAirBase in the south of the country. Hagari said Nevatim suffered minor infrastructure damage, but the airbase was operating as normal. Israeli Air Force aircraft continued to take off and land at bases and continue to fly out on offensive and defensive missions, including Adir F-35s currently returning from base defense missions. Traffic at civilian airbases in Israel was also affected by Iranian attacks. Israeli military authorities announced that the airspace at BenGurionAirport will be closed from midnight on Sunday until an unspecified time. Israel's BenGurionAirport resumed flights at 7:30 a.m. after flights were cancelled due to the threat of Iranian missiles and drones. Officials said defense systems near the airspace prevent Iranian missiles or drones from penetrating, and that surface-to-air missile launchers are fully prepared for a possible attack. In addition to the measures taken by the Israeli Defense Forces, countries allied with Israel have also impressed with their air defense efforts against Iranian missiles and drones. Key participants included the United States, France, Jordan, and Egypt. U.S. officials said the U.S. military shot down Iranian drones heading toward Israel, but did not say how many were shot down or their exact locations. U.S. forces operating from undeclared bases in the region have shot down a number of Iranian drones in Swar and Dor provinces in southern Syria, near the border with Jordan, security sources said. In addition to these efforts, one of the countries supporting Israel was France. Israel's top military spokesman said France was among the countries defending against an overnight Iranian attack on Israel. Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said France has very good technology, aircraft, and radars that contribute to air policing. Hagari added that he did not have exact data on how many drones were shot down or their exact locations. Jordan's efforts to assist Iran in its airstrikes against Israel have drawn much attention in a stunning show of support from Amman, which has been heavily critical of Israel's war against the Tamas in the GazaStrip. Jordanian fighters shot down dozens of Iranian drones flying over northern and central Jordan in the direction of Israel. Sources said the drones were shot down on the Jordanian side of the Jordan Valley and were heading towards Jerusalem. Others were intercepted near the Iraqi-Syrian border. Two Iraqi security sources later said dozens of drones were detected in Iraqi airspace from Iran towards Israel in what the Revolutionary Guard called complex drone strikes. A video has been released in Iraq purporting to show a wave of drones flying across the night sky. Many similar videos have been shared on social media. The drones and missiles seen in the videos were described as a second wave of attacks from Iran. With many targets in the air, the succession of drones and missiles triggered a second wave of attacks. Incoming attacks forced Jordan, Iraq, and Lebanon to close their airspace for several hours. The U.S. Embassy in Jordan warned American citizens to remain vigilant following the closure of Jordanian airspace and Iran's launch of retaliatory strikes against Israel in a security advisory issued Saturday. The embassy warned that the airspace would be temporarily closed and noted that the situation in the region remains difficult and could change quickly due to high tensions in the region. What is surprising is that Egypt joined Jordan in blocking airstrikes against Israel. Egyptian military and security sources told the press that Egyptian air defenses are on alert. Security sources also said that the Egyptian Army General Command has formed a team to monitor the situation and take action. Necessary decisions regarding the country's airspace. The Foreign Ministry issued a statement on Saturday expressing Egypt's deep concern over Iranian drone launches against Israel. The statement calls for maximum restraint to protect the region and its people from further instability and tension. Egypt believes that the dangerous escalation currently being witnessed in the Iran-Israeli arena is a direct consequence of what Egypt has repeatedly warned about: the dangers of expanding conflict in the region as a result of Israel's war in the Gaza Strip. At present, it does not appear that the threat is as great as these statements emphasize. Israeli officials also say the situation is slowly returning to normal after the Iranian attacks. Israel's Home Front Command later announced that residents throughout the country are no longer required to remain in the vicinity of secure rooms, but restrictions on gatherings and the cancellation of all educational events and school trips remain in place, as previously announced. The panic in the country has subsided, and this is important. The details of the Iranian airstrikes have come to light as sensational. Iranian officials claimed they warned the Pentagon before launching missile and drone attacks on Israeli territory. In other words, sources said the US discovered the launch first and immediately notified Israel, leading to a flurry of activity around Israel in the final hours, foreshadowing the attack earlier in the evening. U.S. President Joe Biden will cut short his weekend in Delaware to consult with his national security team about a possible Iranian attack on Israel, the White House announced. Joe Biden said that immediately after the attacks, he met with his national security team to get an update on Iran's attacks on Israel. Back at the White House, Biden also spoke to the press about his continued commitment to Israel's security in the face of threats from Iran and its proxies. Biden Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin called his Israeli counterpart Yoav Gallant for the second time in 3 days to discuss his support for Israel's defense. The Pentagon said Secretary Austin made it clear that Israel can count on the full support of the United States in defending Israel from attacks by Iran and its regional proxies. The statement said they later spoke again after the Iranian attack, and Gallant's office announced that he had briefed Austin on Israel's defense actions. The minister also thanked Austin for his support for Israel and stressed that the defense establishment is on top alert to respond to any further threats. Attempted attacks, other than those by the US, have prompted officials to cooperate with Israel. French officials expressed their support for Israel in one of the strongest reactions to the Iranian airstrikes. French Foreign Minister Stéphanie Sorn condemned Iran's drone attacks against Israel as a new level of security threat. Stéphanie Sorn also reaffirmed France's commitment to Israel's security and said that by deciding to take this unprecedented action, Iran has reached a new level of instability and the risk of military escalation. As we see, conflicting reactions to Iran are only intensifying over time. Condemnation and harsh reactions from countries around the world to Iran's attacks on Israel prevent the Tefronregime from attacking Israel again with airstrikes. If Iran attacks Israel again, the Western world in particular may decide to significantly increase the economic sanctions imposed on Tehran. Thank you for following our news.
If you found it interesting, like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments section. Goodbye until we meet again.